Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of May 23rd, 2022. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Nicole Eridix.
Hi there.
Every week, we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. This week, we're complaining about unreasonable purchases and obsessing about Parent Ditch Day. We also take a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today, we are talking about the baby formula shortage and how familiar the advice that people are getting to just breastfeed. This is just like another in the long, long line of parents being told what to do by people who have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, you have some experience with this.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even know how to formulate my thoughts around this that are appropriate for a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because saying just breastfeed is like telling a person who is blind to just see.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not, if you can't physically do it, you can't physically do it. And
Right.
so I'm speaking from experience, of course. With my son, when I had him, it was a very traumatic birth. And I think that probably, had some impact on the whole breastfeeding experience. But there was just no milk, like nothing. And I tried for 3 days, full days, and it was miserable. And over the course of 3 days, I had 2 different lactation consultants. I had nurses. So I was trying,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just like, oh, okay. I tried it once and gave up kind of thing.
Yeah.
No. And, he was crying. I was crying. It was a very, very miserable experience. And I just felt so much guilt, just incredible amount of guilt and worry and fear, even though both my brother and I were raised on formula. My mom didn't nurse us. And, I feel like I've been pretty healthy adult. So, the whole immunity issue and the whole, your baby's going to be healthier kind of thing. Logically, it made sense. But in my heart, I was like, oh no, I've got to, I've got to be able to do this for my child or I'm a bad mother. So, it was definitely a dark period in my life. I kid you not. It was a very, very hard time. Yeah. And finally, both my mom and my mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, actually, she breastfed, and my mom, she used formula with my brother and I, and they both were just like, you got to do formula.
Right.
It's not working. And I'm so grateful for it. And it was in supply.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any issues accessing it. And I did get some kind of when I'd pull out the bottle at the baby and me groups, there was a little bit of kind of side eye, stink eye. But I didn't care at that point. It was working for me, and they didn't. I guess I was always a little envious. I still probably am to an extent that I couldn't, not envious, but kind of I don't know what's the right word.
There's so much romanticization of it.
It's just like a little, yeah.
But I feel like too, my mom was able to take my kids during the night so I could sleep. My mother-in-law, my husband, I could leave them with, people, not random strangers, of course, but
Here, hold this kid. It comes with formula.
Exactly. So I felt like it definitely, there were other, it wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
But
bad at all. It was just different.
It was right.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the expression is fed is best.
That's right.
exactly.
They need to eat.
Yeah. Exactly. How can you shame a mom for not being physically able to do something?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to me, that's just such a crime. And women are so hard on each other to begin with. Why are we doing this?
Right. And the whole thing, also, somebody who has a 6-month-old that is getting formula, and it's really too late to tell them to go ahead and breastfeed.
It's not like there's a knob somewhere that you can just turn and here you go,
right,
kid.
switch it on.
Yeah.
I mean, there are ways to induce lactation and to relactate, but that is really hard,
Mm-hmm.
And that is, that's not something that most people can.
I do have a crazy story though that came from that.
Yeah.
Is that about 3 months later? Was it 3 months? Because he had his first set of vaccinations. That was 3 months, right? He must have reacted to the vaccination really badly. In retrospect, I probably should have taken him to the hospital. He screamed all night. Like he just could not be calmed, or he was just crying and crying. And I actually, 3 months, I actually started to lactate.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not ever just spontaneously or otherwise lactated.
Wow.
And it only it was only brief, and it was only a little bit, but it was like, oh my God, what is this?
Where did this come from?
Where were you 3 months
Exactly.
ago?
How dare you show up now?
Right.
So,
Tease.
yeah. Anyway, that was that's my breastfeeding story. But yeah. And it was,
I just really feel for parents who are struggling with this, because it's definitely not as easy as just breastfeed. And, there's some babies need special formula.
Right.
Like they can't just, you can't just like switch from one brand to another necessarily without, some babies might, get sick from that or just be uncomfortable. So yeah, it's hard.
my friend is one of those. She fosters, and she has a little person in her house who relies on special formula for diet and stuff. And it, it's just been a challenging road because, the availability and then availability of flavors. And, she's had to try different brands, and it's just been kind of a mess.
Yeah.
For her. So I can't imagine. And actually in our community Facebook page, I noticed that people are giving updates as to where the formula is.
Oh, that's nice for solidarity, but also for mad dashes to that particular store. Their husbands rushing there on a moment's notice.
Well, it makes you think of early COVID, like this store has toilet paper.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just, feeding your child is such a primal thing, to have that be the thing that's short supply. It's just so hard to imagine. And for adoptive parents and foster parents, as you said, Nicole, it's like definitely not an option there other than formula. Right. So, I was fortunate that by the time we adopted our kids, they were both off formula. I think they were feeding my son's group like very, very, very finely chopped meat and vegetables. So we just went straight to baby food, and I never had to worry about that. And, if the baby food had disappeared off the shelves, I suppose I could have cobbled something together. But if you adopt an infant, you're pretty dependent on the Similac. Where is it?
Similac, that's what we
because you can't, it's dangerous to give babies cow's milk, and it's dangerous to give them homemade concoctions. Like I even saw one old recipe posted on Facebook. I was like, oh my goodness, this is very, very bad.
Oh, I saw that too.
Like, please don't do this, or or
homemade baby food or something.
Yeah, you can give us a 5 or 6 month old baby food, but they still need. It's just like for sort of practice and for getting the taste. Like they still need formula for their nutrition. So it is hard.
Yes.
It is. And I feel bad for the moms who are being told to just breastfeed.
Right. Just right. If you have an opinion about how somebody else is parenting and you feel pretty sure of yourself, write it down, strongly word your recommendation, put it in a drawer. Do not share it with anybody. Put it out there with your mind, but not with your fingertips and with your mouth. Just
anything that's prefaced with just do this, or can't you just?
Yeah.
The answer is going to be no.
Right.
So just don't go there.
This has been our frequent refrain here. Every child is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every parent is different. Every family is different. Shut up. The fourth part of that is not necessarily always there, but it's implied.
Right. Maybe not always said out loud, but
right. But for moms out there who are dealing with this, we hope that the next store you go to miraculously has what you need on its shelves. But that will be it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment themed round 2 and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.